Okay, I'm here today with a friend of mine, Miss Lindsey Spoon.
Hello.
Hey, so Lindsey is from Owasso, Oklahoma, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's what I know, and I usually start these by telling how I know how we met. I don't remember exactly. I do know that we are both on the DD Council together.
hmm I officially first met you. You, um, I graduated from Oklahoma Partners in Policymaking in 2019, and you were receiving the Advocate Award. And that's how I officially first came to know you.
I remember that now. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so and then we're on the Developmental Disabilities Council for Oklahoma.
Yes.
And so we get to see each other quite a bit, and we're on other councils. So I'm going to start. I've got some notes here, but I want to start by not necessarily mentioning. I want you to kind of get into. You are the 2019 Oklahoma Miss Amazing Teen Queen.
Yes, I have done this pageant for several years. They have ones throughout the state. It's on a national level. I'm Oklahoma's teen representative because at the time of me winning the state title, I was in the teen category, so I represented the teen division. And so I won state, went to nationals, and my platform was human development education for those that have disabilities, because as you know, the statistics for people being victimized in that way as far as having a disability are very, very high. So that's something I wanted to bring awareness to, and ended up winning, not winning the national title, but coming in first runner-up.
I was going to say that you are the first runner-up for the national as well, so that's very impressive. Yes. You get to go to Chicago for that?
Yes, sir. We went to Chicago for that, and yeah, it was really, really fun.
Yeah. Did you get to do anything in Chicago that?
Not really. It was mainly, it's basically the best way I can describe it, and this is totally going to be awkward, but it's like basically toddlers and TRs, but for people that have disabilities. They keep you so busy throughout the day that you don't even have time to do like pretty much anything.
Yeah, I could imagine. So how many people are involved in that, let's say on the state level?
It's a very number of girls ages 5 to, I think, maybe 50, maybe.
Okay.
And each has their own category. They compete. It's based on a talent, which is now called passing presentation, which is something new that they added this year at the state level. At the national level, so I did mine over sexuality education for those that have disabilities. So that's something new they added. Then a evening gown, which is basically where you get to wear pretty dresses and just, be yourself, and a interview process. So those are the 3 categories. Not everyone goes to nationals. It's only the upper division, so like junior teen all the way from senior miss.
So what's your favorite part of that?
My favorite part would actually have to be the interview process, because it's really where they start to get to know you as a person and see what all you advocate for and see what all you do, as far as, not only your real life, but in the disability wise, because maybe not a lot of them are familiar with the disability community.
Yeah, and a lot of people may not realize that the interview section is the most points, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I learned real quick was, talent is good and all that other stuff's good, but the interview is where it's really at. If you can nail that, you're in.
Yeah.
So, well, and so these girls, you guys all have some sort of disability. That's part of it.
Yes, some sort of disability that can be physical, that can be cognitive, as well. So,
Okay. So I might add, if anybody's watching this, they've already figured this out. You are a self-advocate extraordinaire. I am always very impressed to hear you. You know, we've been on some local plan committees lately together, and you're always well spoken, and you're always right there to make sure that they hear exactly what you have to say, and I think that's great. So.
thank you. I know with a lot of people that have disabilities, they're often afraid to speak up for what they need. And a lot of people don't know what their rights are. Don't know what, services are out there for them. They don't know how to get a hold of those services. So that's where I come in, and I'm able to say, hey, you can have this, this, and this, or you can do this, this, and this. And this is how they can help you.
Yeah, that's great. So let's start. Tell me your story. How did you get started in advocacy? Tell me about you.
Okay. Well, I was born with a physical disability, IDD, um, called cerebral palsy. What that is a neuromuscular disability that affects the corpus callosum, which is the part of the brain that controls muscle movement. So mine is not fully formed, and what is formed is damaged. So I don't have very good control over my muscles. So it makes it hard. I can't walk. I use a wheelchair. So and that's how I got involved with advocacy. Through that, I got involved with the Youth Leadership Forum, which I'm sure you all know of. If you guys don't know, that's a program for high school students that can be taught disability advocacy, and that really opened so many doors for me. That challenged me. I was very doubtful of myself before I came to the Youth Leadership Forum, and Jen really helped me grow, and I would not be the person I am today without her.
Yeah, and she's talking about Jen Randall, who leads the Youth Leadership Forum. I'm trying to get Jen on here. She's real reluctant, but I'm gonna keep pressuring her until I get her on here. So.
Mm-hmm.
So Youth Leadership Forum turned into, you already talked about partners in policymaking. A lot of the guests I've had on here have been in partners. Talk about that and what that did for you.
Partners is basically, the best way I can describe it, a more advanced program, a more advanced version of YLF. It's basically just the building block of what you've already learned at YLF. And that challenged me, that helped me grow, that helped me see, especially when we did the legislative testimony, the mock legislative testimony. There was a bill for, human development courses, and that really opened up my eyes, and that really got me started at where I am today, because it just opened so many doors, and I love advocating for something that most people with disabilities don't realize is a huge issue in the disability community. I mean, you look at the statistics, and the statistics are horribly shocking. And it's something we truly need to fix. So
Yeah, absolutely. Which I thought about what you had said earlier. Your platform was sexuality with people with disabilities, and that's one thing that I think is not addressed as much as it should be as well. So I applaud you for that. Yeah. Is that something? I mean, how did you come up with that part?
um it was really starting in partners that I came up with that. I mean, I didn't really come up with that part. Um, it was really starting at partners. My parents had always taught me, because of my intimate care level, what was right and what was wrong. But not everybody has that advantages that I have. And that's how I got involved with Oaksan, because I knew they were developing a training over here, sexuality education for those that have disabilities. And that's really everything that started. It all started with partners. And
Yeah, I think that's neat. And then you talked about Oaksan. For those that don't know that, that's the Oklahoma Self Advocacy Network.
yes.
Yeah. So you got involved with them. What can you tell us about Oaksan? Because I honestly, I know who they are and I know some of the people, but I don't know a whole lot about what they do. So.
They are in charge of developing training. They partner with the OU Center for Learning and Leadership. Roseanne Percival is over Oaksan. And they do all different types of training. They do emergency preparedness, self-advocacy leadership training. They're developing this new training over sexuality, like I've already mentioned. They do all different kinds of training. They've recently done a Camp Tumbleweed. They've recently done a Grand Rounds session teaching stuff about medical and what people with disability needs in terms of medical care, which I think is very, very neat, because it's often not thought of when it comes to medical care, as you know, Tony, as you've heard in some of these listening sessions that the DD Council has put on. There's not a lot of medical awareness in the disability community in terms of medical care.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think again, you every time I hear you talk, you amaze me. Just I mean, you're well spoken, thought out. I mean, just and you're. I'm not gonna. Should I tell your age? Because that's what amazes me is how young you are.
I'm only 21.
Yeah, and to know you're wise beyond your years. I promise you that. So. I wish I knew what you knew at 21. So, um, you're on the DD Council. I'm looking at my notes again. Sorry, Oaksan, Oklahoma People First. That's
Oklahoma People First. That's how I came involved with that. Is I met Sean Lewis, who at that time was the president over the Tulsa chapter, which is the chapter that I'm a part of because I live in Owasso. So it's the closest chapter to me. He is now the entire Oklahoma president over Oklahoma People First. But how I came involved with that is I met Sean through a camp called Hope's Crossing. That is a day camp for people that have disabilities in the Tulsa area. It got canceled this summer and I was very, very bummed. But that's how I met him. He started telling me about, all different types of advocacy and mentioned Tulsa People First. And when I was coming of age, because you have to be, I think, 18 to be involved, but they let you sneak in at 17 if you know people well. So they let me sneak in on a couple sessions when I was 17 and made sure it was something I really wanted to get involved in. And what they do is all different types of advocacy. They go to different rallies. They're in charge of, they're mainly in charge of DD Awareness Day and, like different stuff like that. Sean was trying to get a grant for the people that have been institutionalized, often don't have grave markers on their grave sites. So he was trying to get a grant for that. That's been postponed until further notice due to the current state of mind that we're in, thanks to COVID. But they do all different types of things, and I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful organization.
Yeah, and again, it's a self-advocacy organization.
Yes.
And then tell me about Owasso Community Resource.
Owasso Community Resources is where I work at. Well, I say work, but it's volunteering because of the SSI wonderful program. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but that really, really, really sucks. Okay. But Owasso Community Resources is a food bank for the Owasso and Collinsville area. They do emergency food assistance for people in Owasso and Collinsville, and they also do utility and rental assistance. And I've been volunteering there, working there for 4 years, and I have a little headset because I don't answer the phone very well the normal way. I will actually pick it up and I will drop it. So having a headset makes it more accessible for me to actually work a job. I can have my hands free so I can type, because I help with making appointments for utilities, and I help with making appointments for food. I run copies to people. Yeah.
And I mentioned you are an award-winning volunteer?
Yes, I have volunteered there so much that Miss Amazing, on the national level, if you had so many hours within your volunteering organization, if you had so many hours, you could either win the bronze level, silver, or gold, and I won the gold.
Nice, very good.
And a little bit more about that, not the award winning part, but a little bit more about that for anybody in the Tulsa area or the Oklahoma area. They're accepting people from the any Oklahoma area right now because of the COVID situation. So our hours are currently Monday through Thursday, 11 to 3, and Friday, 10 to 12. So, and they're doing drive up pickup, so you just need your ID. That's the only thing you need. And for utilities, you need a whole lot more. So call us, look us up online. So
they probably got a Facebook page, I'm guessing.
Yes, they do.
That's where most people get all their information anymore, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So tell me, as far as advocacy goes, again, I'm extremely impressed with your advocacy work. Who are your mentors? Tell me about some people that have mentored you over the years.
Jen Randall would be one of them. I love Jen to death. She is my favorite human on the face of this earth. She is a goofball. I love her though. She pushes me to be a better human. She pushes me to be a better advocate. Sean Lewis, like I've already said, he's the Oklahoma president over Oklahoma People First. I've known him for years, always pushing me to be the very best I can be. Emeka Naka, he is absolutely wonderful. If you haven't heard of him, you probably should. I've been trying to get him to join the council, but he is absolutely amazing. He was an able-bodied person who got injured in a football accident. He had a football injury, and became paralyzed, became disabled, a person with a disability. And his life story from, being a person who is able-bodied and coming into the world of people that have disabilities is truly, truly inspiring. And it's just awesome to see that perspective. And Judy Human would be another one. I don't know her personally, but I adore her. I have many others, but
Real
I'll
quick,
stop.
Judy Human. So I just watched Crip Camp on Sunday.
Oh my gosh, I've seen it like 6 different times.
Yeah, as well as, and as we're recording this now, these come out a little bit later on because I did one a week. But as we're recording this, so I did it this Sunday, which was the 30th anniversary of ADA.
Yes.
And so I watched that, and it was amazing. So as soon as I got off there, I sent her a message. She has a Facebook page. And I sent her a message. She has not responded, but I thought, hey, I'm going to ask her if she'd do an interview, because wouldn't that be cool if you could get Judy?
Yes.
So we'll see if she ever answers. I don't expect her to, but if she does, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And actually, Cody, if you want to get in on this, they are doing every Sunday. You can still sign up, I believe. They are doing little mini sessions, and they've brought in several different advocates, well-known advocates, and it's really been truly amazing to see that and hear some of their stories and what they have to say. So
yeah, who's doing that?
it's the actual filmmakers that put it on. It's Crip Camp Virtual. All the sessions are through Zoom on Sunday at 4. You can sign up. The link for that would be on Jen Randall's Facebook page, and we also have it in the Oklahoma People First page as well. So that is a couple places to find that.
Pretty cool. Let's go back to what you had talked about. The gentleman you were talking about that had a disability now, because of a football injury. One thing, we do a training on disability acceptance, and we talk in that. And one of the things I like to mention are there's 2 things. Number one, people with disabilities is the number 1 minority in the world. And number 2, it's something that anyone can become a part of in a split second. And I don't think people realize that. And so one of the things that I always push in that is, how would you like to be treated if that ever happened to you? God forbid you walk out of your house and you're in a car accident, or you're in a sports injury or something like that. And I usually question them and say, would you want to be treated the way you treat other people with disabilities? And I think that's a real eye opener for them sometimes when they have to really think of it that way. So
I know I've had people come up to me and just be complete and total jerks. It's based on person to person. I've lived with my particular disability for 21 years. And you hear a lot of stuff, you let it roll off your back. It's kind of just, in one ear and out the other. It still bothers you, but you, having a disability for so long, you've heard it a million times, and you just let it roll off your back. But treat us like humans. Treat us like actual humans. And don't talk to us like we're babies, because most of the time we're not. We may not have the same strengths as you. We may not, look like you. We may not walk like you, but treat us like any other human being and talk to us like any other human being.
I think that's great advice. That's one thing that I strive to do, because I always feel like I don't care who you are. I'm not going to talk down to you. I don't know you, so why would I do that? And I learned a long time ago that people with disabilities, even if they don't have, and let's take cerebral palsy for instance. I mean, I know a guy that grew up or that is from my hometown here, and he has cerebral palsy. He doesn't speak very well. He's not. I mean, you can't understand him very well at all. But the guy is a complete math whiz. If you get to talk to him, he went to college, and most people wouldn't realize that from seeing him because of the control issues, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has to do with the muscular, as you said. So
Yeah.
Why do we assume that people and even if they weren't, I mean, even let's say he wasn't very intelligent, why would we talk down, so
Yeah. I mean, see, there's a number of range of disabilities that affect multiple different people in multiple different ways. For instance, with my particular condition, I know people who are far more milder than me, which means they, can walk. They maybe limp a little bit, but they can walk. And I know people who are far more severe than me. They're in a chair, they cannot speak. They use a communication board. And, there's a wide range of disabilities that affect multiple different people in multiple different ways. So don't just automatically, oh, since I know this person with this particular condition, don't just automatically, I hate to use the word assume, don't just automatically assume that every person with that particular condition or disability is going to act the same way or think the same way or speak the same way.
yeah, I completely agree, and it works like you said throughout disabilities. And my son has autism. There are people that are more mild than him, and there are people that are more severe than him. I know people with Down syndrome, again, more severe, more. It just depends. It's a range, So, well, let me ask you this. We talked about mentors. You get some great mentors. Jen Randall, I love to death as you do. And tell me advice that you would give to let's say self-advocates. What's maybe the best piece of advice you've ever received, and what do you tell other self-advocates?
I'm going to use my tagline for my YouTube channel. This is something I always say when at the end of every video. And it's keep rolling on. Or keep walking on. If you use a walker, you can put whatever. But since I use a chair, I say keep rolling on and always find beauty in advocacy. There's beauty in advocacy. You have to use your voice. You have to speak up because I hate to say it, but our parents aren't going to live forever. Our parents aren't going to live forever, and they may be the best advocates for us. But only one person knows you. Only one person knows you. Only one person knows your body. You are the best advocate for you. It's time for you to speak up. It's time for you to find beauty in advocacy. It's time for you to keep rolling on.
That's great advice. You got a YouTube channel. What is it?
It's called Makeup and Mobility. I focus on all things makeup because I love makeup, as you can see my desk back there. And it's called Mobility because I focus on disability advocacy issues.
That's great. I didn't know that. So see, I didn't do all my research, did I? That's really all I've got. I mean, anything else you want people to know about you?
Just, I think one more piece of advice I would give to maybe self-advocates or any person watching this is you're always going to be who you are. And for years, I looked down on myself because I was a person with a disability. Hard to believe now, looking at me and hearing me. I could guess you're probably thinking, whoa, no, she looked down on herself for years? No, I looked down on myself for years. It got to the point where I was questioning God, why did he make me this way? But you are who you are. Never be afraid to be who you are, because who you are is who God wants you to be. It's who God made you to be. You are going to find your calling. You are going to flourish in ways that people can never imagine. I got told I would never graduate high school. I would never walk. I would never talk. And I graduated high school with honors. I walked a little bit when I was younger, and the physician who said that to me, his exact words was, "Oh my God, I never thought she would do that." You have the ability to prove people wrong, and to put a quote with this in code, don't put your diss on their ability. Don't put your diss on their ability. Each of you have the ability within yourselves to advocate for yourself. Each of you have the ability. You may not believe you have the ability. You may be putting your own diss on your own ability, but don't do that. Don't do that, because you have the ability to be your own advocate, to be your own person. You have the ability to do anything in the entire world that you want to do.
Lindsey Spoon, you're an inspiration. You're amazing. I want to thank you for our friendship. You know, I light up every time I see you come on. Lately, it's been Zoom, and I see that little box come up, and it's Lindsey, and I'm like, "There's Lindsey, awesome."
Yes.
But you know, when we're at the DD Council, you know, I like to see you there too. So, but thank you so much for all that you do. I truly appreciate you as a person, as an advocate, and as a friend. Thank you.
I truly appreciate you, Cody. You're such an amazing person. You're an amazing parent to a person that has a disability. You're an amazing advocate. The stuff you mentioned in some of the DD Council meetings, I'm like, yes, yes, we need to get the ball rolling on this. And I just can't thank you enough for being not only an inspiration to me, but an inspiration to a whole lot of people. You are the bright spot that someone needs. You don't know how many lives you are going to touch by doing the work you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I just want to thank you for our friendship and our partnership, not only on the DD Council, but on other DD stuff as well. So thank you so much.